So if you guys can recall, I made a best magic video for Arcane Odyssey and how Shadow was the best magic. Now, do not get me wrong, I'm still a firm believer that Shadow is one of the best, if not the definitive best. But with that being said, we have a runner-up on who has tried to dethrone Shadow as the supreme king of magics, and that is wind magic. Yes, you heard me, wind magic. Now, for a very long time in Arcane Odyssey, wind magic has always been regarded as a gimmick magic, oftentimes finding itself being played by people who are just trying to troll or have dumb fun on Arcane Odyssey. But that all changed when Vetex decided to add this one crucial change. Knockback can now properly apply to players and NPCs who are using attacks. Now, for those of you who don't know, for a good 6 to 7 months, wind magic was never able to apply its knockback property mid-attack, which made it useless in AO for 90% of the interactions. You only ever notice a knockback if you were to catch someone lacking or off guard. Now, when this change was initially added, it made wind one of the best magics in testing. It was so damn good that we had to nerf it a couple times in testing only for it to not even be enough for the Dark Sea update. It was honestly pretty crazy. So why is being able to apply knockback during skills so good? Well, if you haven't played AO, the game is largely based on the fact that you have to aim. If you give a player the ability to knock someone back during their skill, you effectively offset people's aiming capabilities by a crap ton. Now, this in itself is extremely powerful. That means if you react faster than your opponent, chances are their projectile will whiff on you unless they have absurd AoE. Okay, now let's look at the stats. As you can see here, wind has a damage affinity of 0.825 and a speed affinity of 1.4. Now, comparatively to what I originally called the best magic, this is a striking difference in damage and speed. A lot of that really has to do with the recent meta changes, such as agility as a whole being a lot better and attack speed being a whole lot more rewarding. Since wind has such decent speed while having a really good mechanic called knockback, you're able to consistently put pressure on players by effectively juggling them with your knockback. Especially if you invest into high attack speed, you will find that you're able to pressure and not get punished as often. Playing a wind attack speed mage has got to be one of the best, if not the most oppressive builds in Arcane Odyssey. The AO meta has changed. It's no longer about damage output all the time. It's more important to factor in how vulnerable you are to attacks, which can be altered by your attack speed, which lowers your cast time and end lag, as well as agility, which decreases the chances of you taking any hits overall. So this pretty much goes without saying that synergies are starting to become a whole lot more relevant as of late. You start to see this theme to become even more true over the upcoming months and more apparent in the Nimbus Sea update. So what are the potential synergies that wind can unlock? Well, arguably the best synergy in the game, which is frozen. Yes, if you didn't know, you can actually freeze with wind magic. If the target has already been afflicted by a cold status effect, you're able to apply the frozen status effect. That includes pretty much every cold magic in the game, such as ice and snow, as well as any type of potion effect that applies the cold element. So imagine a magic that has the capability of freezing you, which quite literally locks you in place, and knocking you back, which offsets your aim completely. All being extremely hard to punish if your build is set up correctly with your armor. You are arguably created one of the best mage builds in Arcane Odyssey. This is even taking into account certain spell types that might aid the class too. What spells do you want to run on Wind Mage to make it super effective? This is actually pretty easy. You want to run things that are multi-hit, big AoE, or have good damage. The reason why you want good AoE is because your knockback scales off the AoE of the attack you're using. So spells like Pulsar, which is multi-hit, while having good AoE, allows you to create unique interactions like carrying someone with knockback. Pulsar can pretty much set you up for a frozen status effect, which enables you to freeze with wind. This then also sets you up for another spell you can follow up with if you have a pretty high attack speed. Another spell that's pretty good on Wind Mage is Wind Javelin, as this spell does a good job of disorienting your opponent by tossing them into random directions, which again offsets aim a whole lot when done on a high tick amount. Now, for your standard DPS attack, you want to run some sort of blast beam combo. These spells are honestly entirely up to your customization, as people all have their own preferences. Personally though, I would opt for a lower damage but bigger hitbox by using X-Slash on Wind Blast, then using Double Beam as a safe poking tool so you can actually be able to, kind of annoy people a little bit. Now, this goes without saying, your second magic of choice is definitely going to either be ice or snow, really depending on the person. It doesn't really matter which one you pick, just pick one of them so you're able to actually generate the frozen status effect. Now, that's pretty much all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.